Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament of the Hebrew Bible. Now, I use the Christian King James version of the Holy Bible to put together the prophecy of Israel from the scattered testament of the various prophets of the Old Testament. And when I finished writing it the first time, I found a set of instructions that I was uniquely qualified to fulfill. So I did. The last part of the instruction was to publish peace. So, after I completed every other step set forth for me by God, I had to publish peace. So I went to publish peace and found out that I had to write another book, because the book of prophecy was written entirely in Bible text. So it was all chapter and verse. I didn't write it, the prophets wrote it. So I had to write the Pot Smoker's Bible in order to publish peace. And so on 4/20 of the year 2020, I started publishing peace. Now, the manuscript I finished in February of 2020. The events that I foretold in the Book of Zion and the Pot Smoker's Bible unfolded the following month, in May, with the death of George Floyd, which was a prophetic event. And today, I'm continuing the second read-through of the Pot Smoker's Bible and Book of Zion. I'm on the 25th chapter of the Pot Smoker's Bible and the 22nd chapter of the Book of Zion. It's called Out of Zion. And this is the first part of this chapter. And it goes like this. Once the world capital of Zion is built, it will be the place from which the human Grey Council, rules the planet. They will also establish a base in Israel, which is the Grey. The two sites will coordinate the events on Earth between them. These two cities, Zion and Jerusalem, will be the capitals from which the Grey operate. For a time, there will be peace. The newness of the Grey being on Earth and the social changes they bring will for a time be so shocking that humanity will go along for the ride of their lives, paralyzed to act. There will be many changes forced on society. Shock and awe will bring a form of compliance for a time. But in order to ensure survival of our species, sacrifices will have to be made. We will have to stop polluting our planet. The Council of Grey will require all nations to comply with necessary regulations. Many industries will be forced to cease all operations until compliance is met. But all steps taken will be for the very survival of our species. World politics will move between Jerusalem and Zion, but it's in Zion that the Grey will reside. Zion is the central seat of authority of Earth for off-world operations. It is at this time that the King of Zion makes his appearance. Up until now, he has been nothing but a voice in the head of Zion. He has played no true part in events until now. However, when exactly he shows up is yet to be determined. His arrival is predicted in Isaiah 54, but when he actually appears is a mystery. Sometime around the camp out is the best guess that I could bet. His appearance solidifies events. He is the governor of the nation of Zion, the king of Israel, returning from uh, ruling from Jerusalem. His temple office, the is in Jerusalem, but he, like the gray, live in Zion, where he rules. He is the final element of prophecy. With his appearance, the stage is set for the final events foretelling the end of our society and the age of male dominance on this planet Earth. So, we now begin the dissertation with Psalms 87, 1 to 3, which becomes Zion 22, 1 to 3. His foundations His foundation is in the holy mountains. The Lord loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. His glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of God, Selah. His foundation is in the holy mountains. This is a pretty clear passage. It says that the foundation of Zion is the holy mountains. So that means that the Rocky Mountains are a holy mountain range, a place set aside for Zion, a place for the great to inhabit. I believe that the highest peaks on Earth probably contain the elements closest to the Gray's natural chemical mix, so that it's easier for them to breathe in the higher regions. The Gray have always preferred the mountain regions. Moses on Mount Sinai, the landing fields in Peru, Zeus in Mount Olympus. All seems to suggest that mountains are best suited by the Gray. There is also the need to have the survivors use caves to protect themselves from destruction. It is the elevation that seems to be the key. If there is a firestorm, it would require the use of elevated entrances to ensure that the arcs opens into the air and not under ash deposits. For that reason, the prophecy makes it clear that the Gray intend to occupy the highest of the elevations, so that mountains are seen as sacred to the Gray. The mountains are holy. The Lord loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. This verse seems to contradict the identity of Jacob as being other than Zion, but not necessarily, because the gates of Zion is an indication of the Ark Mountains, as opposed to the above-ground dwellings of Zion, which is Jacob. The Gray prefer the inner mountain setup better than the human modern dwellings on the surface, because the buildings outside the Ark will be retrofitted human-made buildings, as opposed to the alien human-constructed inner mountain conditions. Perhaps the inner mountain city will be so much better than our more human constructions that this is telling us that the difference between the two is so profound that it's night and day. The Gray prefer the inner mountain to the surface. Glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of God, Selah. Our future city of Zion will be a beautiful inner mountain site, capable of sustaining the life of humans and other earth creatures from any harm. It will house the governing body of the planet. It will provide the Gray with a safe environment chemically suited to their needs. It will be beautiful and functional, a city made by the hands of both human and aliens, a thing of great beauty, meant to endure. Which brings us to our next passage, which is Joel 3, 16, and 17. It becomes Zion 22, 4 and 5. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no stranger pass through her any more. The first part of the passage, the Lord shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. The entire reason the Gray have come back is to save both of our races. The Grey will roar out of Zion to try and save as many humans as possible and to ensure our internment is as little as possible. We want everyone to be able to survive what's coming. So they will roar to the world to prepare to build intermountain shelters. They will do so from both Zion and Israel. There are two foretold bases of operations on Earth. This verse tells us yet again that the Earth is going to go through a major event that will require extreme measures to be survived. This won't be just another 9.0 or better earthquake. This event will shake the entire planet. It will be rung like a bell, a global event of biblical proportions, Noah's flood proportions. The people of Zion and Israel will be well prepared with all that is needed to both survive and to rebuild when the dust settles, along with other allied nations. And of course, the 12 species will be here to give us all of the aid that we need when that day comes. During our time in the mountains, the remaining humans will have had the time needed to address our social problems and to adjust to a better social order. We will have to learn how to live in peace. In the confined space like an ark, social order is a necessity. That's the only means of survival. So our time in the mountain will force us to change for the better. The knowledge that we are not alone will give us a sense of well-being. We may be forced to live inside a mountain range, but knowing the Grey are out there waiting for us to emerge will keep us strong, and it will give us a sense of peace. So shall you know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no stranger pass through her any more. Once the Grey take up residency in Mount Zion, the state of Israel and the city of Jerusalem will be a holy city, a holy place devoted to the Grey. All interplanetary dealings in the old world will go through Jerusalem. All new world operations will be from Zion. But the living spaces for the Grey will be in Zion. The old world is the eastern hemisphere, and the western hemisphere is the new. As an American, that's how I was taught. I was raised with these terms, old world and new world, depicting the Americas as the new world. But the division is the same. Zion is an American spaceport, the capital of the Western Hemisphere part of the world. Jerusalem is the spaceport to the older civilizations of the East. Once the Grey are established in Zion and have set up shop in Jerusalem, that city will become holy. Only those approved by the Grey on pilgrimage will be allowed in. It will be a holy place where thoughts are pure and the interactions of humans in Grey are holy. These will be carried out in private. Zion is for commerce and government. Israel, Jerusalem, is a sacred place for communion, where the temple resides, and no unclean thing can enter. Which brings us to the next part of our passage, which is Zechariah 8, 1-3. It becomes Zion 22, 6 to 9. And the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith the Lord, I am returned into Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. That is where I will begin next time. So, may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your guild choice when we get to Camp Zion. If you use drugs, stay happy and high. You have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote 2 books about it. I never say goodbye, so I'm going to say later now.